African Advisory Council first board meeting of the year. It's 6:41, Thursday, February 5th. I want to first start by welcoming folks here this evening. You know, we did not have the January meeting because there was a lot going on. It was right after the new year. But it was very important that we have this meeting to get things rolling. We've done a lot of good things throughout the year, and it's only when folks step to the plate, when folks attend these meetings, that we're able to accomplish community business. And we're able to move the ball one step forward. So I'd like to welcome the mayor's office, and they're very well represented in the back. I also like to welcome Vanessa Gibson's office. I'd like to welcome the community leaders. And I also like to a special welcome to our borough president, Ruben Diaz, Jr. On the agenda, we have our Bronx borough president, Ruben Diaz. He's here, and we're glad to have him here with us on our very first meeting. I think it sets certain precedents, and it takes a foresight to put together a council. Putting a council several years ago, the idea was non-existent. And now you look in every borough, and you look within the city agency, and everyone is trying to put together an African Advisory Council. So it speaks volume, and it's very well felt. And us in the Bronx, we understand how special it is, how special we are. So thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Just want to say to the Advisory Council, thank you all for all the board members in this past year, for all of the work that you've done. For those of you who are here from the community, welcome. Welcome to the courthouse, welcome to Borough Hall, welcome to this wonderful Advisory Council that I believe is doing an amazing job at making sure that my office, thanks to Tracy McDermott, let me just acknowledge Tracy McDermott, has done a great job at keeping us abreast of all of the issues in the community. Mr. Chairman, I just want to congratulate you and the executive board for having more women on the board. I think that shows that yeah. And Scott, I guess you and I reflect diversity on the board here too, right?
But you got to learn an African language.
Well, maybe you can teach me. Right? You know, when we first created the Advisory Council, we did so knowing, understanding that the African community was growing exponentially in the Bronx. For those of you who don't know, yesterday was the anniversary, 16 years, my 16th anniversary of really being intimate with the African community here as an elected official. And it wasn't for a good reason. I say that because February 4th, 1999 was when Amadou Diallo was shot at 41 times and hit with 19 of those bullets. Just yesterday I was on the phone with Ms. Diallo. It was the annual call. We speak to each other throughout the year, but I always call her on February 4th just to see how she's doing. 16 years ago, after young Diallo was shot and killed, I was a young assembly member then. That's where I got to know and meet many members, many friends, now longtime friends in the African community. As the borough president, I've been the borough president now 5 years, understanding the growth of this community and all that it has to offer. We said, you know what, we should create an advisory council. There are things happening locally, but we also know that not just in the Bronx, but throughout the city of New York, there's a growing African population. And when the issue of Ebola, let me just get on that issue. When that came out, there was a lot of misinformation. There were a lot of people who did not know what they were talking about. There were a lot of folks who were looking at the African community in a, I'll say, in a discriminatory way. the city of New York, and doing everything that they can do to get information out, was looking all over the city for an organization, a group, that can help them disseminate this information out into the community. And boy, was I proud that of all the places where that they looked, that they came to the Bronx and they found a strong, vibrant, intelligent, capable African Advisory Council. It was there that we were able to see our star, your chairman, Charles Cooper, to see your Chairman Cooper out in television, so articulate, letting the people, letting the world know that yes, there's a strong African population, there's one here in the Bronx, that we need to be respected, that if you have to come to us in terms of the leadership so that we can help you get information out there. And we were able in the Bronx to help have a calming effect. And life isn't perfect, but to have a calming effect throughout the city of New York around this issue of Ebola. And now there's not too many people and newspapers writing about it, but you're still diligent in your efforts to raise awareness that back in your home countries in Africa, there's still many challenges that are surrounded around Ebola and many other things. So that makes me proud that this organization, that this advisory task force is able to handle business here at home, but also show the city that you mean business, and also show the rest of the world that you mean business. And so I couldn't be prouder as the borough president, as a de facto member of this executive board, of this group. And I just wanted to say that this group has also, since its inception, has been afforded us in the Bronx the opportunity to be able to identify leaders that we've been appointing to the community board, has been working with my office on all of the issues that other Bronx and other New Yorkers care about, whether it is housing, whether it is the usage and the restoration of our public parks, whether it is jobs and economic development. And so I'm not here today to speak so much more than I am I'm here to listen. But when you look at the Bronx and the fact that we've turned this corner, everyone is looking at us differently. I mean, one of our native sons was just elected to be the Speaker of the New York State Assembly. That's a big deal. And Speaker Carr Hasty. So everyone is looking at the Bronx, and everyone is looking, how is it that in a borough of 1.4 million, when everybody left us for dead 20, 30 years ago, when the Bronx was burned down, where you have over 40% of the people who live there who were born in another country, whether it's Africa, West Africa, whether it's the Caribbean, South and Central America, whether it's in Europe, how is it that they're working so closely together? How is it that we've been able to, over the last 5 years alone, come up with over 16,000 units of housing in the Bronx, all built in a sustainable way? People are looking at us and they're saying, how is it that in a borough where no one really believed in, how is it that over the last 5 years alone there's been over $7 billion private dollars in investment there, creating over 15,000 jobs? How is it that in a borough where everyone thought that the moment you stepped in here, if you come from someplace else, you would die within 10 minutes at the hands of some criminal? How is it that crime continues to go down and the percentages that is happening in the Bronx is leading the city of New York? And so the answer is very clear. The answer lies in our diversity. The answer lies in our new population, our immigrant population. The answer lies in the fact that we welcome those who come from other places. That the Bronx has always been that. And so when you look at a national debate where you look at immigration and everyone is saying, oh, maybe we should build walls and lock them out. No, the reason why we have so much housing, the reason why we're leading the city and even the state, I dare say, in the type of green, sustainable housing development, the reason why we've been getting along is because of the new immigrant population. And yes, that includes the West African population. And our populations that come from different corners of the world, but that believe in faith, that really understand what it means to struggle, that appreciate life as it is today. A population that is about family and faith and working hard. And so while the rest of the country has this fictitious debate about how bad the immigrant is, here in the Bronx, we say thank you. Here as the borough president, I say we welcome you. Here as someone who's lived here all my life, I say I've seen really bad times, and times are so great today because of the work that you put in on a daily basis. We are all ahead of you. And so, are we perfect? Absolutely not. Is our work done? Absolutely not. Is there more that needs to be done? Absolutely yes. And so that's why I'm here today as the board president, to show support to the executive board, to your chairman, who I respect, who I admire, who we've been talking a lot lately, but also to show respect to all of you and say, you know what? You're making the Bronx better. You have the ideas. You live in the community. And now I'm here to listen so that we can continue to move forward. Thank you for the opportunity.
We'll first hear from our vice chair, the one that moves this council from the background, Lucina Bula.
All right, so I'm going to start by explaining my role, what I'm doing. Pretty much run the operations and also kind of figure out, develop ways to implement the vision, our vision, the AAC vision, the vision that the chair just talked about. So that includes most of the time coordinating the activity, the AAC activities, event, and then you will see in front of your yearly calendar, also going through, the resources, managing our resources so that way we can be successful. And trying to be, a liaison to the community. That's pretty much my job. So for 2015, the beginning of my year have been very busy because I've been having meetings with different associations. We're trying first to bring more women, and then as you can see, we have more and more women in the group. So I had a meeting with the Solidarity African Women for Development Association, who actually include different African women from different countries. The women from the Mandingo Association, the Malian Women Association, and the women from the Association from Ivory Coast. So, and I'm continue working, so that way we can actually have all those women come in and join the council. On the other side was actually working on the diversity of type of activities that we're having, so we can actually make sure that the AAC, there is a full representation of all African countries on the council. So I had a meeting with the social committee, trying to see where is the plan for this year, what we're planning on doing, and how we're gonna, possibly the resources that we need to make the soccer tournament event happening, So I also had a meeting with the Economic Development Committee, still on the same goal, working on the business workshop for our community. The art and culture community, they have a lot for this year, but I think it's gonna be a great year because culture is something very important in the African community and the community in general. So we worked on the plan, what is happening, film festival. I also had a meeting with the civic engagement committee because you have all this subject as a TPS, municipal ID. So how we're gonna structure this during the year, bringing information to the various committee, and community. And one of the projects that we would like to, and we're actually working on with the chair, is our newsletter. So I was actually making contact and see what, working with our media director over there and see how we're gonna market more the AAC so we can expose more the AAC and see how the newsletter can happen. So that is said, that's my report so far for this month.
Basically, my job is to actually represent the AAC at different events, you know. And I also do a lot of meetings, such as last year I had a meeting with the Burkina Faso film company that actually invited me to this so they can come and actually meet Arts and Culture Committee chair, since they're working on the film festival, so they can be part of the film festival. They can submit their film so they can be processed as one of the just part of the film festival.
Just like Priscilla said, the art and culture has been really, really busy. I want to repeat my name again. He has said it. The I is pronounced like you would pronounce immigration. We actually did a whole lot last year. I'm not going to talk about what we did. So I'm going to talk about what we're currently doing and way forward. About the African Film Festival. That's the biggest thing on our plate right now. African Film Festival, there are a lot of other events we could have suggested to do. But right now, African film is really, really going for everywhere. Now, even if you walk on Jamaica, you go to Jamaica, you're walking on the street, you will see or hear some Nigerian movie playing along the street. And we said it's about time in the Bronx here we bring it here. You know, we have like over 140,000 Africans here in the Bronx, and we said let's do African Film Festival. Going into it now, we see that it's a real big thing for us. I don't know nothing about film, but with the help of the chairman and the Bronx Borough President Office, we're going to pull it off. African Film Festival is really important for us to do. One, is showcasing African talent. Two, we're supporting our own talent. Three, a great way to network. It's also a way to cater towards the interest of African community. The community will benefit. The theaters in the community will also benefit, and that will lead me to introduce John McQueen. He is the director of art and culture for Hostos Community College.
Anyway, Hostos has been committed to the community. It was founded in 1968, during the civil rights struggle to provide equal opportunity. And at that time, the community was largely Puerto Rican, and the arts and culture sort of reflected that, and also some Dominican as well. And I'm brand new. I succeeded somebody that was in the job for 30 years, and he did an amazing job, and big shoes to fill. But we want to strategically shift our programming to be representative of the community and representative of the South Bronx. And I was interested to do some, to explore some African programming, and so I contacted Tracy, and she suggested going to the meeting of the Arts and Culture Committee, and great restaurant, great food. And, anyway, but we're very interested in serving the community and having the programming reflect the community. And so we want to do it in the very best way possible, and I would love to work with the committee in finding a project. And we're looking at the film festival. It's a little unusual because it's in June, and then CUNY closes on the weekends. But I do want to, if it's not that one, I want to find a project that we can work together on. And but everybody's been so welcoming, and thank you so much. Yeah.
Somebody that we also working with, this is a play, and this is also going to take place in Hostel College. The play is Evera. You want to speak about this play and introduce the writer?
I was involved in the production of the play Elvira by Jessica Carmona. The writer, director is here, and she's going to say a little bit about it. It's about immigration. Say something about Elvira.
I am a Latina myself. I'm a Puerto Rican woman, and I have been very involved with the Latino immigrant community. I've been working with undocumented immigrants. I worked at an organization called Make the Road New York, and I also currently work as an ESL teacher for New York Communities for Change. And all of my students are undocumented immigrants, most of them from Mexico, but others from Guatemala and Honduras. And I'm listening to everyone here and learning from my friend Linda, and I know that there's a lot of common struggles and issues among all immigrants. So as he mentioned, I am a trained actor and playwright as well, and a couple years ago I began writing a play, a theater play, based on the life of one undocumented woman. Her name was Elvira Arellano, and she had a son named Saul, and they tried to deport her to Mexico and separate her from her son, and she basically refused, and she took sanctuary in a church. And a lot of people started talking about her, and she was a hero to many people. Many people refer to her as the Latina Rosa Parks. So I began to write a play about her, and it just picked up. A lot of people in my circles, immigrant rights advocates, were really interested in it, and they produced it this past summer. And Linda, again, was a part of that production. And my hope is to continue performing this play. We've done community performances in church basements, we've done ESL classes, we went to City College, free performances for the community, and every performance has been followed by a discussion with the audience about immigration. What are their thoughts and what are their experiences with undocumented immigrants? So,
at this time we're here from our Civic Engagement Committee. We're here to report.
The 2015 plan of action towards capacity building and sustainable engagement. So the Civic Committee is working on quite a few things, of course. One of the things they want to do this year is visit as many African organizations out there, connect with as many people as possible, and engage with elected officials, and help out other committees within the AAC, put together their events and such. So one of the things they wanted to discussed today was DACA, which is a deferred action for childhood arrivals. As you know, President Barack Obama announced a series of executive actions in November that could allow up to 5 million people to stay in the U.S. and work legally, focused on people who came to the U.S. as children and those who are parents of U.S. citizens or legal permanent residents. And so, as you know, the new Republican-led Congress is vowing to repeal the executive action. So we would like to encourage anyone who qualifies for DACA to actually go out there and apply for this, because the more people we have, the harder it will become to get rid of this, to repeal this law. The initiative will start on February 18. We have a list of organizations and agencies that can actually help you out with this. So if anyone qualifies for this, please feel free, get in touch with us and we'll help you out. There's also the NYC Municipal ID, which I'm sure the Mayor's Office will be talking about. It is effective as of now, and there are 2 different locations you can go to in the Bronx to get your IDs done. It comes with there's quite a few benefits that come with it, little perks, such as you get free pass to cultural institutions in the city, the Bronx Zoo, and other places all across the city.
The packet that you have, there's a yellow sheet. That is the information for my official Black History Month celebration, which will be in Co-op City. This is Thursday, February 12th, next week Thursday, a week from today. It's during the day from noon till 3. So come one, come all. You're all invited. Also on the 19th of February, I do the annual State of the Borough address. And you all invited. We're doing that at the mall. There's a new mall. I'm pretty sure many of you know over there, Bay Plaza. This is one of the things that we believe is helping to transform the Bronx and the image of the Bronx. So 2,000 jobs were created there. So just to highlight the economic development and things that are happening, I'm doing something different this year, and I'm going to do the State of the Borough at the mall. And I would love to have a strong African Advisory Council presence at our State of the Borough. And let me just to maybe put out a suggestion for the Cultural Committee, Cultural Affairs, as well as Civic. The worst thing that any community can do in this day and age, in my opinion, is to stick just with themselves. When you look at diversity. The way that diversity works is not just that you have different groups, but that different groups are exchanging with each other. One of the things that you may want to think about, I think that the film festival is great, and I'm looking forward to being there. I hope I'm in town, and I want to see some of these movies. But if you look at the Bronx is the only county out of the 62 counties where the majority of the people who live here are Latinos. But I always say this, that whether you dance to bomba, la plena, salsa, merengue, bachata, any one of the musics that we dance, la punta, if you garifuna, you do so with African instruments. All of them. You do it with African instruments. So maybe, in order way to bring the community together, we should reach out to all of like the Latino communities with percussions and all of the instruments that we use to celebrate our culture and to dance, whatever it is that we dance, with the African instruments, with the African community, and sort of have like this day of instruments. I don't know, and this is the way we can do it in the summertime, something in the park, and people will bring their timbales or their congas or whatever, no matter what it is, comes from Africa, right?
Yeah.
So this will be, everybody will be like one.
And this time we will hear from our social committee chair, Mr. Ambrose Ngandi.
15 is coming on Bronx Week is what is the major thing we really have to. We always work to celebrate. We already kick off. It's from the soccer tournament, which is part of one of the things that unite us African here is coming up, and we do this every year with the grace of the Borough President that will give us this opportunity in the past, and we're still hoping that we're going to continue doing this, make this happen. So the Bronx Week this year is, the soccer tournament is going to start April 18th. We already have the calendar, we're going to post it, we're just working on a little manner. It goes from April 18th to May 16th. The final is May 16th, and there's a parade in Mushuru Parkway on the 17th. So that's basically what I just wanted to bring to your attention. Everything else is going to be posted within from now to next week. March 5th is the application and ID day. April 2nd, return of the application in this particular room here by all the team. We have 20 teams representing 20 countries.
So up to 20 teams?
20 teams now. And we just don't, one of the problems that we don't know, it may be your phone call probably magical. We're having a stadium problem.
You don't have a field.
We don't have a field. We end up playing 20 minutes times two. You know, soccer is it's a lengthy game. I mean, again, we need this for 5 minutes, not a minute. So what field do you use now? We're using come down.
Not Heritage.
No. So if anything, you know anyone.
So you only get one field?
Only one field.
To play with 10, 20 teams?
Yes. We could have a 30 team, but we don't have a space to.
Sami Park.
Whatever. If you say that, we go.
Sami Park has a field. They have Heritage Field. We just did the soccer field in Sami Park.
I think logistically you're talking about having a couple day games simultaneously going.
Yes,
so that could be a little.
We can work that out. But let's get the field first. We'll work it out. We're African. We can handle everything. So just get us the space, and we do that. So we can count on you. Can we?
Absolutely.
Okay. Tracy.
At this time, we'll hear from the Economic Development Committee Chair, Duma Seydou.
As we all know, the economic is the backbone of every society. In order for us to be who we are here today in Bronx, we have to get a solid economic community here. So after I took over this job, we assess the need of our community, which basically is the real need is where to start. Where to start means that we need to look the type of businesses that our community are running here in the Bronx. Therefore, we are here to make sure that not only having the business, but getting the right platform to get those businesses. Which one, we meet with a couple of business owners, entrepreneurs, restaurant, real estate, and some retailers. After our conversation with them, they are looking to see what can they do beside those type of businesses and how they can stand. First of all, we tell them that in order for them to sustain, they really need to follow the right platform, which is being licensed business, have all your legal documents ready, financing and planning, business initiative, not only running only this one type of business, but diversified, looking into franchises. Housing, which is very important in community, job, which is very important in community, and especially job for young youth after school during the summer. We look into that, and then we met also with an African investment group, which is called G7. Basically, it's an African business entrepreneur that are here that are putting money together to invest. I invite the gentleman, his name is Abdullah. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it today. He was going to talk to us about the investment. But for the year 2015, what we're looking to do is basically do a workshop that every community that we have in here, they can come and see what is the diversity of businesses that they can get, especially the housing and the job for you during the summer.
I don't know if you're aware, but in the first floor of this building, we have the Bronx Overall Economic Development Corporation. And you don't have to remember, it's a long name now, just go to Tracy, but the Bronx Overall Economic Development Corporation is the economic arm and partner of the borough president. The president of the BOEDC is Marlene Cintron. And what the BOEDC, among other things, it lends out money to small businesses to do startup. We can go as low as $5,000. They go up as high as $5 million in loan for businesses. The BOEDC also has partnered with the federal government. If, for instance, someone wants to start a business, but if you don't have a business plan, they can help you with a business plan. Right. They also have, we've been able, I don't know if you guys know, this past election, I was the co-chair of the governor's re-election. So in having that relationship with the governor of the state of New York, we were able to get the Department of Labor to bring a whole unit of the Department of Labor, and they're downstairs at the DOL. So when I said earlier that we have reduced unemployment, that we've created over 15,000 new jobs, that's not just creating jobs in the Bronx. When I first got here, everybody said, oh, we want to build this, we want to create jobs in the Bronx. And we took a different tack. We say, we don't want you to just build jobs in the Bronx, we want you to build jobs for the people who live in the Bronx. It's two different things. So when you look at the mall, out of the almost 2,000 people who work there, 90% or more are actual Bronxites. The way that we did that is that we had, with the BOEDC and the Department of Labor, we started with the mall, we did a workshop, a job fair. From the job fair, we did screenings. With the screenings, we start narrowing it down. So if you're someone who owns a business and you need 3 people, we would send you after screening 12, 15, 20 people for those 3 positions. They would all be qualified for those 3 positions. You choose, we don't care because we know all 20 come from the Bronx. So the point that I'm trying to make is that if you know anyone in the African community, young or old, who's looking for work, now is the time to go to the BOEDC, to work with the BOEDC and the Department of Labor, get them their information. If they, by the way, on an individual, if you don't have a resume, they will help you out if you don't know how to do a resume. And then you will be part of the process. So as more developers keep coming to us, and we keep telling them, we want you to hire Bronxites, we don't let them have an excuse anymore. A lot of times people say, oh, we try to find Bronxites, but we couldn't find anybody. No. All you got to do now is go to the BOEDC with the Department of Labor, and they will then use all of the resumes and the screenings that they do and they're pairing people for those actual positions. So as the head of the economic committee of this task force, you should we will start connecting you to the BOEDC downstairs, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
add something to the economic development. The workshop is on June 12th, and I know that they submitted their needs, and one of the needs were to have on the workshop some type of clinics or people who actually can help them. So I think it would be a great idea to be present at that workshop. Yeah.
That's great.
And just a quick note on that. I know the committees have given a report, and we're waiting for one more committee. And I want to harp this, and I try to reiterate this every other meeting, is that these committees only function with folks actually joining these committees. So you have committees chairs, but they need folks that are dedicated committee members. So if you're interested in any one of these committees, please reach out to the chair afterwards, exchange contact, because it's very important. That's how your initiative, if you're interested in having some type of business, or if you're interested in a building, procuring, that's the Economic Development Committee. That's who we need to reach out to. That's who you need to partner up with in order to push that initiative. If you want to do something social, that's Ambrose Committee. If you want to do something arts and culture, that's Richard Committee, etc., etc. So it's very important that you join these committees. I just want to harp that point again. The last committee on the list we have is our Interfaith Committee, and Chair Dr. Balde.
Oh, thank you very much. We're very happy to have you all here today. As the Bronx Borough President said, anytime you have more people, you got more ideas. We need you to come, to teach us, be exchanging. So, I thank all Bronx side because the health department, when we come to the Bronx, they still talking about it until now, because we never have people like we have in the Bronx come out to listen, to take this information in the different community about Ebola. So we have been working with the mayor office, Charles, in the back. We have been going to the different massages, churches, give information about Ebola. So thanks God, people was very worried in the beginning, but finally they understand. So concerning the massages, the churches, you know us, we dealing with the leaders of the community, because every community have massages, have churches, so they are the big people in the community. It's very difficult for them to come. I always see them to come here to see us, to exchange with us, but now we're gonna go to them. We're gonna find out anytime they have availability, we can go to them, tell them what we have been doing, exchanging, get something from them. But
we hear from the city agency. First one is the New York City Community Assistance Unit. Moles and Alvin Garcia.
The African Advisory Council, thank you so much for having us, Mr. Borough President. We're in your house in Bronx Borough Hall. We're happy to be here. As the Borough President was stating, the Bronx is on the map now. You should know, if you don't know already, out of all of the 5 borough presidents, we have the senior-most borough president. All the others are brand new in the role. We have the borough president from the Bronx already into his 2nd term. We have now the Speaker of the State Assembly from the Bronx. All I've been hearing was the Bronx. Another interesting, I'm sorry?
The same guy is African American.
Yes. And he's the first African American speaker, the first in the state. So New York State is now more representative of its people. That's a very good point. That is true. Another fun fact, the borough president is from Soundview, which is where I'm from, so I like to think there's a lot of energy of leadership. I bump into the borough president from time to time. And speaking about parks, we're in the middle of bringing in a new Bronx Parks Commissioner, so Tracy, keep me in the loop. As soon as we have a new Bronx Parks Commissioner, of course we'll be happy to introduce that individual to the African Advisory Council to talk about those activities. But My name is Elvin Garcia. I am the Bronx Borough Director for Mayor Bill de Blasio in the Mayor's Community Affairs Unit. A lot of you folks got to know a little bit about what we do during the Ebola outbreak that took place in Africa, and then obviously the incident that we had here. I just want to say again, the level of professionalism, the level of resolve and calm and just drive that the community had really spoke to the values of the West African community. So again, I want to give you guys a round of applause on behalf of the city. It's important to know, we set the example for the nation as a city, working with the Borough President's Office, working with Tracy, working with all of you to disseminate information. You had other governors in other states freaking out. You had other people taking extreme measures. In New York City, we had one case of Ebola. Dr. Spencer walked away alive. There was no spread of the disease. We had a negative case of a young boy in the Bronx, turned out to be negative. He was able to come back into his building and roll back into school without any stigma, without any issue, and that is all because we work together hand in hand with the community at the city level, at the borough level, and at the advisory level. So again, that's a little bit more about what we do at CAU. In short, we are the direct conduit to City Hall, to communities across the city. So as a lifelong Bronx resident, I am the point person for the borough of the Bronx. We work with all of the intercity agencies, all of the elected officials, the precinct councils, community-based organizations, to not just resolve issues, but also elevate institutions and ideas that help affect policy and programming, like what the African Advisory Council is doing. As you know, the mayor is a five-borough mayor. He's talked about the Tale of Two Cities. He recently had his State of the City address, where he's highlighted affordable housing as the cornerstone issue for 2015. Because if folks cannot afford to live in the city, then we lose the identity of what makes New York City. What makes New York City so diverse, as the borough president said, even in the Bronx and across the city, is that people can, from all walks of life, all income levels, can afford to live here. So stay tuned for that as we're looking to expand on affordable housing. Another thing that we help push, and you hear about them in a second, is the mayor's pre-K initiative. And we have folks from the Department of Education here that have English and French language information, and they'll talk about pre-K in a second. ID NYC, I'm sure you folks have all heard of it. It is a great identification card for any New Yorker, regardless of your immigration status, regardless of where you come from. There are cultural benefits, as was mentioned, benefits for seniors. This is great for young people ages 14 and over, so that you have identification, so that you don't have an escalated situation with the police. For example, earned income tax credit is another way that the mayor is very proactive about getting agency policies and initiatives out to the outer boroughs. The borough president joined us for an hour making phone calls on a day of action over the weekend to inform average New Yorkers about their benefit to apply for the earned income tax credit.
One of the things I do for Muslim outreach is visit the mosque around the city and to get the information out there. Like the borough president was saying, during the Ebola crisis, there was a lot of misinformation out there. So, thank you, Dr. Baldi, for bringing me to those 5 mosques around the Bronx. So, get the correct information out there to the folks. Again, get the awareness out there on what folks can do to address any type of Ebola crisis that may arise in their circumstance. One of the things that when those 2 incidents happened by Food Islamic Center with the taxi drivers, we convened a meeting at City Hall with all the ethnic leaders. Charles Cooper was there, and one of the main issues that came out, one of the main things that came out of the meeting was we need to get more awareness in taxi cars. So if there were more signage, people would know what to do to address any concern, right? So 30 days later, we signed into law that all taxi drivers are required to have some type of postage notifying people of the consequences of assaulting a taxi driver. And that little instance right there shows the power of the community, right? So as the community affairs unit, we need to understand what the issues are on the ground so that can shape policy, right? So Charles, thank you again for being there. And again, this is another example of how strong the community's voice is, and this is really important to the mayor, that we understand what the issues are on the ground and what we can do to address them. And we look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Borough President. It's good to be back at Bronx Borough Hall. My name is Josidi Surena. I'm the Bronx Outreach Manager for the Pre-K for All Outreach Initiative. And we have, I brought with me Cynthia Alvaro.
And I am a community coordinator for the East Bronx section.
Excited about coming into a room like this because I know that the African community, how connected and how family oriented and just how professional in your outreach efforts you are to get the word out. And with a group like this, I'm sure I'm looking at one person, but you have a network of like 10 organizations, or you're a member of an active member of your mosque or church, and so I'm reaching the right group in order to make sure that your community is well represented in the pre-K initiative. We need your help. We need your help to fill those 70,000 seats, like Eldon said. We want to go above and beyond the call of duty for this year. We're looking to you in several parts of the borough. We know how influential you are, particularly Claremont, Central Bronx, and other areas, but we want to make sure that your children are receiving this important benefit. It's been shown that a child who attends a pre-K program is a child that has more opportunities to excel later on in life. And so we want to make sure that your community is taking advantage of these free programs. 16th to the 24th is the open application period for pre-K. There'll also be a second chance to apply, but we want the Bronx to be well represented in that first enrollment period.
Can you just see me just right after, so that way I can get all the information and adjust my calendar? Okay, so then I will get the contact information and we can post it for the community.
Yes, absolutely. And I brought several of these that you'll see around the
Give it to me.
Everybody know what the Earned Income Tax Credit is. This is the federal program that based on your income, you can get more money. It is by far, the best poverty or anti-poverty program in the history of this nation. You make a certain amount of money, they give you an earned income on top of that. You get more money for yourself. A lot of people don't know about this. A lot of people don't take advantage of this. So the reason why we were calling New Yorkers last Saturday is to make people aware of it. The other thing I want you to all know is that now is this tax season. The city has different sites now where people are preparing your taxes for free. Free, no charge. They have experts. They're doing it for free. That's the other thing that we were, they doing one here, the library on 179th Street, right? Is 20. The address is 120 East, 179th Street. It's like the Carson Library, and they have people there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, from 5:30 in the afternoon, in the evening, to 9:30 at night, and then Sundays from 10 o'clock in the morning to 5:30 in the afternoon. Free. You go there and they'll do your taxes for free. Some of you go now to someone who prepares it. I don't want to dig into anybody's pocket if you're a tax preparer. The city does it for free. And it is there that those individuals are trained to try to get you as much money as they can get you from the federal government in the Earned Income Tax Credit Program.
Hey, Jeff?
Let's ask a question. I'm going to have to leave, but let me ask this question from everyone. Who is here in front of this council for the very first time? Raise your hand. Okay, that's a pretty significant number. What you should take away from this is that while I'm here today and I may not always be at the meetings, this task force, this council, you should know, has a very intimate relationship with my office. You've already heard of Miss Tracy McDermott. They meet here in the office. There's so many different events. Some of them very serious meetings, others things like the soccer tournament. What you should take away is that when you go out there with your family members in the future, if you're really serious about making your community better, if you're really serious about getting information to make your life better and the people of your family, their life better, this is a serious council. I'm here today take this council serious. I work closely with this man, work closely with all the executive members, and you can see that they're elected officials who respect, from the mayor's office on down, they respect this council. So you should continue to participate. You should continue to try to reach out and get other people to come. And maybe on any given meeting, your actual concern may not be heard at that meeting, but as you keep coming, you'll see that your face will become familiar, not only with the members of the executive board of this council, but also with elected officials and our staffers. And that's how you integrate yourself in how we govern this entire borough and the entire city, as has been said here a couple of times, that the Bronx is really hot. The Bronx is the place that everyone is talking about now. So I'm going to excuse myself now, but if you have any issues, any recommendations, any criticism, any advice, bring it to the chairman, bring it to the executive board members of this council, bring it to Tracy. She briefs me after every meeting that you guys have. The next day, we get briefings on what's happening in these council meetings. And so today we meet here, but hopefully we get to the point where we continue to show the city how this can grow and grow and grow and grow. So we are proud of the fact that the council is getting the recognition and the respect that it deserves. But I'm even more happy to see so many hands went up when I said that this is your first time. I hope it's not your last time. I hope that you realize the seriousness of what's going on here. And I hope that in the next meeting, maybe you won't raise your hand because it'll be your second time, but that you will bring somebody who's with you who would be their first time, and they'll be raising their hand. So thank you very much, and Mr. Chairman, I think you run a great ship here, so thank you very much.
Before you leave, I would like to